When maintaining your daily wellness rituals is important to you, the change in routine during the summer can feel daunting. Kachava's new travel packs help you stick to your daily ritual even when you're on the go. Just one packet of Kachava's all-in-one nutrition shake provides complete nutrition with 25 grams of protein, 6 grams of fiber, greens, adaptogens, and much more. So you'll be fueled and ready for wherever life or your summer adventures take you. No fillers, no nonsense. Just the good stuff your body craves. Plus, it actually tastes delicious. But you can try it for yourself because the variety pack includes all 6 delicious fan favorites: chocolate, vanilla, chai, matcha, coconut acai, and strawberry. So instead of worrying about sticking to your daily ritual, simplify it with Kachava. Go to kachava.com and use code SHAKE for 15% off. That's KACHAVA.com, code SHAKE.
We have the tech to get food delivered in 15 minutes, but we all have horror stories about buying tickets. The Game Time app gives fans the advantage. Get amazing tickets in just a few taps. Fees are included, so what you see is what you pay. And the Game Time guarantee means authentic tickets at the best price every time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets to concerts, sports, comedy, and more with Game Time. Download the Game Time app and create an account for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply.
Breaking down every game, every day in Major League Baseball. This is the Baseball Betting Show. Here is your host, Greg Peterson.
Hey, warmer friendly hello! Welcome to lovely Las Vegas for the Baseball Betting Show with myself, Greg Peterson, now part of the VSiN family of podcasts. We've got an excellent podcast for you. We're going to be joined in segment number 2 by one of our good friends, William Boor, who does such great work over at Action Network. We're going to chat with him about this very, very murky American League picture. I can't stop talking about it because, man, I can't think of any league that's been more open in my life than how open the American League is right now. Are there a few teams that he feels like are ascending and might be presenting a little bit of value? And then we'll dive into the slate for this Monday. And then in the final segment, get you guys picks and analysis on every game on the betting board for this Baseball Monday as we touch them all. If you have a question, comment, segment idea, what have you for this podcast, you do have one of 2 ways to be able to fire those in. First one is my Twitter/X timeline at gunit_81. Keep in mind, Larry CM, naming does not matter. So as per usual, please do send these into the timeline. And the other way, that is fine, an Apple Podcast review. If you rate this podcast 5 stars, it's very much appreciated. From there, you're able to fire in whatever you'd like to hear on this podcast via that 5-star review. While I did not get in any Twitter/X questions today, we had ourselves a fun day of baseball on Sunday. Let's take a look back at it. Try to find some trends and try to get to know these teams a little bit better.
Games from yesterday is Greg buzzing about. Here is the rowdy recap.
The Red Sox now 29-40 overall, and they have been just absolutely dismal at home. On Sunday Night Baseball, the Texas Rangers, they get the job done. This by a kind of 6-4, and Connolly early, well, he left this game very early because he gave up all 6 runs for the Rangers, being able to crank it yard Kyle Higashioka. Higgy, can't you see? That's the 5th home run for all of us. He goes deep off of early, and then you had Wyatt Langford, 3rd home run season for early. He goes 4 2/3 innings, allowing 6 runs. From there, the bullpen was solid. Ryan Watson, 2 shutout innings. Tommy Kahnle, a scoreless inning. Greg Weiser, 1 1/3 innings scoreless. And Nathan Eovaldi does give up 3 runs in his 7 innings of work, as Wilson Contreras was the main form of offense for the Red Sox in this game. 15th and 16th home runs of the campaign. From there, Jacob Junis gives up a run in 2/3 of an inning for Jacob Latz, 1 1/3 innings scoreless. And the Red Sox now 12-22 at home this far this season. The Diamondbacks, they get the job done against the Cincinnati Reds. They were on to a 5-3 win for the Diamondbacks. Back above 500 was Zach Gallen, getting filled up. 3 runs allowed over the course of 6 innings. Gave up a pair of bombs. Navoli Marte, the Marte Parte. He had 0 home runs coming into the series. Had a home run in all 3 games. His 3rd of the campaign. JJ Bleday is 12th. From there, Juan Murillo, Kevin Ginkel, and Paul Sewald all on a scoreless inning. And Andrew Abbott, he did his part. 1 run allowed in 5 innings. He's now allowed 14 earned runs, by the way, in his last 9 starts. He did give up a solo home run along the way, as it was home run number 2 of the season for the young outfielder in one Mr. Tommy Troy. From there, the bullpen of the Reds, which has been absolutely awful, was absolutely awful. TJ Antone, he gives up 2 runs, 1 of which was earned. He was cranked deep by Geraldo Perdomo, 4th home run season. Gabriel Moreno off of Zachary Maxwell, his 6th home run of the campaign. Maxwell gives up a solo home run in his inning. Work Sam Moll, scoreless inning. Chris Paddock now coming out of the bullpen. He gives up a run in an inning, so that was a rough one for the Reds. Rough one for the Houston Astros. 4-0. They lose to the Kansas City Royals. For the Royals, a really good start here from Stephen Kolek. 7 1/3 inning squirrels. Stephen Cruz, pair of outside the bullpen squirrels. Daniel Lynch, a shutout inning. And Spencer Arrighetti, well, he puked up mom's spaghetti. 4 runs allowed over the course of 6 innings. From there, Olimber Santa, great name, Nate Pearson, they both on to scoreless inning, but Royals may get back online with a win, and for the Astros, been an up-down all-around season for them. For the Yankees, they're currently your top team out there in the American League. 8-3, they take down the Blue Jays as they put up a 5 spot in the 9th inning. Will Warren, only last 4 innings, gives up 2 runs. From there, the bullpen was pretty solid. You did have Jake Bird give the bird with giving up a solo home run as Davis Schneider, second home run in the campaign, but Tim Hill, Brent Hendrick, Camilo Duvall, David Benner, they do not poop the Benner. They all give you a shutout inning. Patrick Corbin not long for this game either. 3 2/3 innings, he allows 2 runs. From there, Spencer Miles gives up a run in 2 2/3 innings. Mason Flaherty, pair of outside the bullpen squirrels. Jeff Hoffman, squirrel setting, and then Braden Fisher has been solid all season long. 3 runs allowed in 2/3 of an inning. Taken deep by Ben Rice, 19th home run season, and then Jose Calabrio off of Tommy Nance, 6th home run in the campaign. Nance gives up a pair of runs. He only gets 1 out of the bullpen. The Chicago White Sox take down the LA Dodgers. This by a count of 6-2. 38-32 now for the White Sox, and they're 24-12 at home, by the way. Brian Hudson, the opener, gives up a run in an inning. That 1 run, a solo home run to Freddie Freeman, 11th home run of the season. Boogie Betts a bit later on off of Grant Taylor, gets his 7th home run of the season. Taylor gives up 2 runs in 2 innings. Eric Fetty, well, he did not get whopped. They didn't let him go too long in this game. 2 2/3 inning scores. Sean Newcomb, 2 1/3 inning scores. And then Sir Anthony Dominguez gives up a run in an inning, but closes the door. Emmett Sheehan gives up 3 runs over the course of 5 innings. He was cranked deep in this game by Mr. Sam Antonazzi, 2nd home run in the campaign. And then Jack Dreyer gives up home runs to Colson Montgomery, 7th home run of the season. Chase Meadroth, his 6th for Dreyer, gives up 3 runs in an inning. He's starting to regress a little bit. Blake Tryon, Jonathan Hernandez, both on the scoreless inning, but rough one there for the Dodgers. The Slam Diego Padres do indeed slam the Baltimore Orioles. 5-2, the final is for the Padres. Pretty good start out of Walker Buehler. 1 run allowed over the course of 5 innings. Was taken deep by Jeremiah Jackson, 7th home run this season. And Trevor Rogers starting to look better for the Orioles. Gives up 2 runs over the course of 6 innings. A little bit of a tough luck loser, as from there, Uncle Rico Garcia gives up a pair of runs in an inning. He was taken deep by the backup catcher. Home run number 3 of the season for the young gun, Rodolfo Duran. Anthony Nunez and Yunier Cano from there come in for an inning. Cano gives up an unearned run. There were 3 errors out there on the field in this game. And for the Padres, you did have Bradley Rodriguez come in for a shutout inning. Jason Adam does give up a run in a 3rd of an inning, but Audrey Motorhone and Mason Miller, they both give you 4 outs out of the bullpen to be able to close the door in the 8th and 9th innings. For the Washington Nationals, they're back above 500. They take down the Seattle Mariners 10-1 to final. Emerson Hancock, not what he was looking for. 6 runs allowed over the course of 4 innings. He was taken deep in this one by James Goodwood for his 20th home run of the season. Then Keibert Ruiz a little bit later on, he was able to get home run number 6 of the campaign, as that one comes off of Michael Rucker. He gives up a solo home run in his inning work. For the Mariners, you did have Jose Ferreira, Nick Davila, both give you a shutout inning. Andres Munoz in an unsafe situation. 2 runs allowed. He didn't get a single out of the bullpen. Alex Hoppe, not so happy about the fact that he gave up a run in an inning, but how about Miles Michaelis? After the opener, PJ Poulin gives up a run in an inning. 7 shutout innings from him. Clayton Beater, a scoreless inning of his own, so the Nationals, they get that one in. Paul Skeens loses another one. 4-2, the Miami Marlins get the job done for Skeens. He does settle down after he gives up a pair of runs early. Both were solo home runs, as Alberto Hernandez, 6th home run of the campaign, and then Joe Mack gets his 2nd home run of the season. He gives up 2 runs over the course of 6 innings, 7 punch-outs, but not a lot doing for the Pirates at the dish, as Max Meyer, he gives up 1 run over the course of 6 innings. From there, Calvin Fauché, Tyler Zuber both give you a scoreless inning. Pete Fairbanks does give up his home run in the 9th inning to Brian Reynolds, 8th home run season, but that gets the Marlins to the window. While for the Pirates, you did have Brandon Bedoy give up a pair of runs in 2/3 of an inning. Evan Sisk, a scoreless inning, and Isaac Madsen, 4 outs out of the bullpen, scoreless himself. The Atlanta Braves have been the best team in all of baseball, but not on this day. The New York Mets take him down 8-1. The final, Freddie Peralta gives up 1 run over the course of 5 innings. From there, Tino Perez, pair of outs out of the bullpen, scoreless. AJ Minter, pair of outs out of the bullpen, scoreless. Dan Duarte, 5 outs out of the bullpen, scoreless of his own. And you also were able to have a scoreless inning of Oscar Brisbane. Bryce Elder, the regression monster, came for him. He gives up a pair of home runs. A.J. Ewan, 2nd home run season. Marcus Semien, his 9th, gives up 6 runs over the course of 4 innings. From there, you did have Anthony Molina give up 2 runs, one of which was earned. The Dodd-father, Dylan Dodd, James Karinchak, Reynaldo Lopez, they all lend a scoreless inning, but not a lot doing for the Atlanta Braves at the plate in this one. Not a lot doing for the Chicago Cubs at the plate. They fall by a count of 5-1 to the San Francisco Giants. Colin Ray was more like Colin Boo. After the opener, Ryan Rolson gives you 4 outs, scoreless. He gives up 4 runs over the course of 4 2/3 innings. Matt Matt Chapman takes him deep, who has had a resurgence recently. 7th home run season. Hobie Milner is scoreless setting. Did have Ethan Roberts give up a run in 2/3 of an inning. Jacob Webb and out of the bullpen scoreless. And speaking of Webbs, Logan Webb, 1 unearned run given up in 8 shutout innings from there. Caleb Killian, the former Cub, closes the door, scoreless 9th inning. So Giants getting back to a little bit more respectability, and this was insane for the Colorado Rockies. Franchise record 23 runs in a road win, 23-9 over the Athletics. As for Jeffrey Springs, well, he got sprung. 8 runs, 6 of which were given up over the course of 4 innings. He had 6 home runs in total for the Rockies. He gave up 3 of them. From there, Luis Medina, 6 runs allowed in his inning of work. Brady Basso, 4 runs allowed, and he got 5 outs out of the bullpen. Scott Barlow, he got a pair of outs. He gives up 4 runs, all of which were earned, including a home run. Carlos Cortez, position player, 1 2/3 innings. He gives up a home run of his own, as Willie Castro gets home runs number 4 and 5 of the campaign. Troy Johnson, his 3rd home run season. Hunter Goodman, he is a good man. Home runs 19 and 20 of the campaign. TJ Roundfield, his 9th. And for the Athletics, pair of home runs off of the Rockies as well. Tomoyuki Sugano, the starter, gives one up to the wrong Max Muncy, 3rd home run in the campaign. Sugano gets a win, giving up 8 runs over the course of 5 innings. You don't see that very often. Blas Castano, he would then give up a home run to Tyler Soderstrom, 12th home run of the season. And hey, you were able to get a 3-inning shutout save out of, I hope I get this name correct, Emerson Castellano. So, congratulations to him. 3 shutout innings in Las Vegas. It's not easy to do, and this is not easy to do. The LA Angels being able to get a win, as they did not do so on Sunday. The Tampa Bay Rays 8-3. They get the job done here, as for the Rays, Casey Lugumina, the opener, gives up a run in 1 2/3 innings. Ian Seymour from there, 2 runs allowed in 3 1/3 innings, was taken deep by Donovan Walton for home run of the season, but Kevin Kelly, pair of scoreless innings out of the bullpen. Craig Kimbrell, Garrett Clevenger, they turn a scoreless inning between the 2 of them. Brian Baker, a shutout inning, and Grayson Rodriguez, not long for this game. 2 runs allowed in 2 1/3 innings, had to leave with an injury. That's rough. Chase Silseth, pair of outside the bullpen scoreless. Drew Pomeranz, he gives up a home run in his 2 innings of work, as it was Mr. Ben Williamson getting his 1st home run in the campaign, and then Sid Bachman gives up a pair of bombs, as Junior Caminero, that was home run number 15 of the season. This was home run numero 2 for Victor Mesa Jr., as for Bachman, he's actually been quite solid for the Angels out of the bullpen thus far this season. Was not so solid in this one, as he surrenders 5 runs in his inning of work. Brent Suter, 2 shutout innings. Ryan Zefrian, a scoreless inning of his own, but the Rays, they've been struggling a little bit, needed that win, and they were able to get it. Being able to get a win as well, the Minnesota Twins, 5-4. They take down the St. Louis Cardinals. For the Cards, Michael McGreevy, solid start here. 2 runs allowed over the course of 6 innings, as you had Victor Carantini get his 4th home run of the campaign. From there, Jojo Romero, 2 runs allowed in a 1/3 of an inning, and George Soriano, he takes a loss. 1 2/3 innings, he gives up a run. Taj Bradley played more like Milton. He was playing games. 4 runs allowed in 6 2/3 innings, taken deep by Alec Burleson, 10th home run season. J.J. Weatherald, his 10th, but from there, bullpen does their part, as Andrew Morrissey, Andres Gomez both turn a scoreless inning, and Anthony Banda is able to give you an out of the bullpen scoreless as well. For the Milwaukee Brewers, they continue their winning ways, 4-0. They shut out the Philadelphia Phillies. Christopher Sanchez had given up, I believe it was 2 runs over his last 7 starts, might have been 3. He gave up more than that in this one. 4 runs allowed in 5 2/3 innings, including a pair of bombs. You had Jackson Chourio get his 9th home run of the season, and Blake Perkins, his 1st. What a time for his 1st home run of the season. Jay Sugar from there, 4 outs out of the bullpen squirrels. Tanner Banks, a shutout inning, and Kyle Harrison continues to be great. 6 shutout innings for him. The lone kryptonite he has is apparently lovely Las Vegas. Aaron Ashby, 2 shutout innings, and then Ebner Uribe. He was able to turn a scoreless inning of his own. And if you're taking a look at trend-wise, what we're getting in Major League Baseball right now, it's been an overwhelming season in baseball, and it's been an overwhelming last 7 days. Over the last 7 days, the over rate is about 54.1%, 46 overs, 39 unders, and along the way, we have had 4 pushes. Favorites on the money line hitting at 54%, 47 and 40 on the money line, and among those favorites, all but 9 have been able to cover the run line. Overall for the season, favorites are hitting at 55.4%, 574 and 462 on the money line. Among those favorites, 134 have failed to cover the run line, and the over rate now 51.3%, 533 overs, 505 unders, and if math serves me correct, we have had 29 pushes along the way. So that's where we're getting in baseball right now, and that's where we're all seeing trend-wise. Coming next, how about if we do chat it up with our good friend William Boor over at Action Network right here on the Baseball Betting Show. Myself, Greg Peterson, now a part of the Beats and Family Podcast.
Keep your wellness routine going strong all summer. Kachava's new travel packs help you stick to your daily ritual even when you're on the go. Just 1 packet of Kachava's all-in-one nutrition shake provides complete nutrition wherever you are, with 25 grams of protein, 6 grams of fiber, greens, adaptogens, and more. Simplify your daily ritual. Go to Kachava.com and use code SHAKE for 15% off. That's KACHAVA.com, code SHAKE.
We have the tech to get food delivered in 15 minutes, but we all have horror stories about buying tickets. The Game Time app gives fans the advantage. Get amazing tickets in just a few taps. Fees are included, so what you see is what you pay. And the Game Time guarantee means authentic tickets at the best price every time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets to concerts, sports, comedy, and more with Game Time. Download the Game Time app and create an account for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply.
Breaking down every game, every day in Major League Baseball. This is the Baseball Betting Show. Here is your host, Greg Peterson.
We're back here in lovely Las Vegas for the Baseball Betting Show with myself, Greg Peterson, now part of the VSiN Family Podcast. Always great to be joined by this man as we've got William Boor aboard. He does such great work over at Action Network, taking a look at this great game that we all know and love of baseball. He's doing a great job this year, taking a look at so many different things, whether that be baseball. World Cup fever is upon us, and I know that over at Action Network, they're doing a great job on that front. For William, I know that he does a exceptional job with regards to his college football content and so much more. You're able to follow him on the old Twitter/X at the letter W, his last name Boor, B-O-O-R, all together. And William, always a pleasure, my friend. Thank you.
No problem, Greg. Always happy to hop on, talk betting with you, baseball, World Cup, anything. Regression hit me hard yesterday, but today's good. We'll get back on track, talk over some baseball with you.
Yep, absolutely. And when it comes to just taking a look at progression and regression, what do we make out of the American League right now? Because I can't remember a league that has just been so weak before in my life, because the top teams in the league right now are the Rays and the Yankees. Rays have been very uninspiring over the last few weeks. Yankees are dealing with the Aaron Judge injury, and then after that, it's hard to find teams that are more than like 3 or 4 games above 500.
Yeah, every time I get high on a team, they suddenly lose. You get low on a team, they win 7 of 10. It's very murky, and I think if you look into some of the more advanced or different stats, like you mentioned, the Yankees and the Rays at the top, but if you look at the run differential for all these teams, the Yankees are plus 107, which explains why they have the best record. But then after that, if you just go down by record, you've got plus 8, plus 12, minus 3, plus 20, minus 51, plus 4. Like all these teams are just hovering around the middle, and no one's really separating themselves other than the Yankees, or I guess the Angels and Royals and Tigers on the other end.
Yep, absolutely. And it's going to be interesting to take a look at this American League moving forward, as we've got a few games out there in the American League for Monday. And then when it comes to the National League, I feel like it's a little bit more concrete as to who our top teams are. Obviously, the LA Dodgers are back there once again. I think that we can both agree that the Milwaukee Brewers are going to be a mainstay, liking what I'm seeing out of the Phillies. But what do you make out of this league? Because I still think that even though I mentioned those teams, the Braves have just really been the team to beat. And every single time I try to feel low about them because they had a little bit of a less than savory performance on Sunday. But even with that, I just still feel like the Braves might be the most complete team in all of baseball right now.
Yeah, I'm with you, but big emphasis on right now. I think the Braves will make a deep run. They're going to be good. You just can't discount that Dodgers roster for, obvious reasons, especially if they're healthy in the postseason and you've got everything going. There's just so many stars. Stars usually win in October. But the Braves are really good. They've been playing well of late, throughout the Sunday thing. It's baseball, one day happens. But I'm with you. Like right now, I think the Braves are probably the best team in baseball.
Yep, and it's going to be interesting to watch them moving forward as William Boor does such great work over at Action Network. He's joining me right here on the Baseball Betting Show, and unfortunately, we do not have the Braves in action. We are going to be seeing the Dodgers, though, going up against the Tampa Bay Rays, and very demonstrative number with the Dodgers right around about like a minus 160, minus 170 favorite against the Rays. And Nick Martinez has been really good. He also only gets about 5 strikeouts per 9 innings, and Eric Lauer has really given up the deep ball. I want to get your thoughts here because I feel like that total of 8.5 to 9, in my opinion, is just a little bit too low, because I do think that Nick Martinez is going to get hit hard, and Eric Lauer has shown this year that he is very willing to get hit very, very hard against a Rays lineup that has been pretty solid this year.
Yeah, this game is really interesting to me. I don't like the idea of fading Nick Martinez because he's been really good, but I also don't want to lay that price, with the Dodgers just against Nick Martinez. This is going to be interesting. I know what you said about, both pitchers getting hit hard, Nick Martinez not getting a ton of swing and miss. I don't really have a strong lean on this game either way. This is probably a pass for me, but it's definitely intriguing to see how Martinez handles that LA lineup.
Yep, it is going to be interesting because with Martinez, he has induced so much soft contact all season long. I just have a little bit of a fear that at some point that might be running out, but we will see if that's going to be happening on Monday or not. And then when it comes to this Padres versus Cardinals game, this one I think is a lot of fun as it should be Lucas Giolito starting for the Padres. We're starting to see some openers up with the Cardinals right around like a minus 135, minus 140, and want to get your thoughts here because Giolito actually has a respectable ERA. Felt like he was a little bit lucky last year. He has been really lucky this year with more walks than strikeouts. And for the Padres, it's just so hard to back them because the offense has been terrible.
Yeah, but if you look at the names in the offense, it's so hard to just like abandon hope too. I think the Padres are going to be one of those teams that I may end up at the end of the year being like, why did I back them so much when I go over and like look at my numbers and stuff like that? Like they're a team that I just can't give up on for whatever reason. And I think if I'm going to get their roster, Giolito, who can be good, but like you said, the walk strikeout thing is really weird. If I'm going to get them at plus money, I'm probably going to grab it. But I don't know if I would necessarily tell people to hop on board. That's one of those where I'm like, hey, I'm doing this and you do what you want.
Yeah, with regards to the Padres, for Lucas Giolito, he just needs to find the zone a little bit more. Like, I can back a guy like a Michael King. I can back some of these more high-end starters for the Padres. I just can't do it with Lucas Giolito right now because I feel like he's been very lucky this season. And it's going to be interesting to look at the Cardinals as well because I'm not sure how you take a look at the Cardinals because I've been banking on them perhaps regressing a little bit, but now here we are, darn near 70 games through the season, and they've been a mainstay. And if the season were to end today, they'd be in the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, positive run differential. They've won 7 of their past 10. Like you said, they'd be the wild card race. I mean, they're only 5 behind the Brewers, and let's face it, the Brewers are really good. So trailing them is nothing to sneeze at. You're right. They're a team that I keep waiting for a regression to hit because there's something about this team I don't believe in. But maybe that's a me thing. Maybe it's not the Cardinals because, like you said, they keep playing well. They're 7 games above 500 and we're halfway through the year, like 70 games. This is a meaningful sample size and they're right there.
Yep, absolutely. As William Boor does such great work over at Action Network, he's joining me right here on the Baseball Betting Show, and I think that this is going to be a fun one between the Mets and the Reds, and being able to get Chase Burns right now at about minus 135 or so is calling my name because Tobias Myers is right now listed as a starter for the Mets. I'm thinking it's going to be either a piggyback situation or he's going to be an opener for David Peterson, and for the Mets, it's looking a little bit better for them, mainly because I couldn't really get a whole lot worse for them, but that said, I want to get your thoughts here because I just feel like this is a really good price on a nice starting pitcher in Chase Burns, and it's still really hard for me to back the Mets with the way that the offense has performed all season.
I'm right there with you. No doubt about this. No hesitation for me. Give me Chase Burns. Give me the Reds. I mean, he's throwing the ball really well. He's given up more than 2 runs in just 1 start all season, and that was early April. If I'm getting Chase Burns at this price and I get to fade the Mets, to me, I'm all in. That's easy.
Yep, this one was one that really stood out to me. And that total of 8, I might be willing to take shot on the over because, as we know, Great American Small Park, it really lets up runs, especially in the middle of June as well. So that's one that I'm certainly going to be eyeing, and that's one I'm going to be looking at. And then I think this is interesting as well. We've got a total of 7.5 in the Marlins versus Phillies game, and Zach Wheeler is a guy that you don't want to take a lot of overs with. Ryan Gusto is a guy that you probably want to take a lot of overs with. So I want to get your thoughts here because I can't bring myself to betting on the Miami Marlins, even though you're getting like a plus 180 or so. But I want to get your thoughts here because you got one pitcher that you really want to back, and you got one pitcher in Gusto where sample size is small and it's not been a good sample size.
Yeah, I mean, this is, to me, if we're doing money line or run line, this is Phillies or bust. I'm only on Philadelphia in this game. In the over-under department, I would probably lean over just because that number is so low. But as you said, Wheeler has been really good all year. I think if you're betting that over, you need obviously the Phillies to do the bulk of the damage. You need Schwarber to homer. You need Harper to do something. This is a game where I'm going to need the Phillies to put up 6 or 7.
Yep, absolutely. And I do think that there's quite a bit of good value there. And then this one I think is going to be a lot of fun as well because we've got ourselves the Royals against the Nationals. The Nationals who continue to lead the league in terms of run creation. And right now I'm seeing the Nationals is about like a minus 130 or so money line. For the Royals, it should be like a poo-poo platter of pitchers, bulk game situation. And for the Royals, I don't understand why there were so many people that were high on them coming into the season. Never been a believer in them, and I'm not here to say that Andrew Alvarez lights the world on fire, but he's been perfectly fine for the Nationals, and being able to get them at this sort of a price is just calling my name with Washington.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, if the Nationals are going to continue averaging 45 runs a game, it's hard to pass up on them. I would back Washington in this spot. They've been really good. They're a surprise to me in the same way, or I guess in the opposite way that the Royals are a surprise, but the Nationals are a fun team. They're an over team. They're just a lot of fun this year.
Yeah, they've been able to get the job done time and time again, so I've been loving what I've been seeing out of them, as we do have William Boor, who does such great work over at Action Network, joining me on the Baseball Betting Show. And then a team that I've been loving to fade thus far this season has been the LA Angels. Right now, they're only like plus 102 to plus 110 against the Diamondbacks. And I like what I've seen out of Wilber Urania. He's been one of the few guys that's actually been halfway decent here for the Angels thus far this season. But being able to get the Diamondbacks here at like minus 125, minus 130, that's another one that's calling my name, because if you get an even up start between Ryan Nelson and Urania, you just can't back this Angels bullpen, in my opinion.
Yeah, the issue is, I mean, Ryan Nelson gave up 7 runs his last start. The Diamondbacks have definitely had some inconsistencies when it comes to just pitching and overall performances of late. But they are better at home, where they're 7 games over 500. And like you said, the Angels are just rough spot. I know Urania's been a little bit better and is not necessarily the reason the team's 29-43, but the fact of the matter is the Angels are still 29-43. Diamondbacks are a 500 club. They're above 500 at home. It's a cheap price. I'm willing to take that price and hope that Nelson doesn't even need to be great in this spot. If you get 5-6 innings and 3-4 runs, that should probably work.
Yep, absolutely. And we do have ourselves a pretty solid card for a Monday. 10 games, because we do have some travel spots that's always going to be popping up. But anything else that's really calling your attention? And I know that we've got a few games off the board, but anything, even if it's not a game that you're going to be looking to bet, that maybe you just want to kick back and watch?
The Reds and the Phillies were my 2 bets, the 2 things that I immediately circled. The other one I'm eyeing is I really want to back Mackenzie Gore and the Rangers, but they've also, for full disclosure, we're recording this Sunday night. They've got the Sunday night game in Boston, so I kind of need to see how that goes before the whole flight across the country and then the game. So let's see what happens there. But that's something where, depending on the number, depending on what time they get out of town, I might look to grab something in that spot.
Yep, and for Minnesota, it's to be determined. So we've got no betting numbers up on that game anyway. So even if you wanted to fire in on the Rangers right now, you wouldn't be able to. Should be Mike Paredes going for the Twins in some form of capacity. We don't know if he's going to be a starter. We don't know if he's going to be a bulk guy, but I do think that Gore is going to be able to go out there and get the job done, just like you do time and time again, William. You do such great work over at Action Network. I know you guys have World Cup fever. You guys are doing a great job looking at baseball. You guys did a great job in the basketball season and so much more. So love the good people at home. Know it's all on tap for you, and how people can follow along on social media and other platforms.
Yep, I'm on Twitter and Blue Sky at WBoor, all one word. You can also follow all the bets in the Action Network app, William Boor _, again, all one word. Make sure to download the app, go to actionnetwork.com, check out everything me and my colleagues are doing. Obviously, we've got stuff, as we just discussed, for every single baseball game every day. We've also got a ton of World Cup stuff for all the games. Stanley Cup finals are wrapping up, but pretty much if you can bet it legally in North America, we've got it covered. And I will just want to shout out Nick Giffen, my colleague, has a model for the World Cup that we've been publishing, and it's off to a 9-1 start, so you may want to hop on that as well.
And Nick does a great job when it comes to NASCAR as well. That's what I know him best from. And he does some college basketball stuff as well. He does a great job over at Action Network, just like our man, William. A big thanks to William for joining me right here on the Baseball Betting Show, now part of the VC Family Podcast. And coming next, it is that time, the podcast. They give you picks and analysis on every game on the betting board for this Baseball Monday as we touch them all.
When maintaining your daily wellness rituals is important to you, the change in routine during the summer can feel daunting. Kachava's new travel packs help you stick to your daily ritual even when you're on the go. Just one packet of Kachava's all-in-one nutrition shake provides complete nutrition with 25 grams of protein, 6 grams of fiber, greens, adaptogens, and much more. So you'll be fueled and ready for wherever life or your summer adventures take you. No fillers, no nonsense. Just the good stuff your body craves. Plus, it actually tastes delicious. But you can try it for yourself, because the variety pack includes all 6 delicious fan favorites. Chocolate, vanilla, chai, matcha, coconut acai, and strawberry. So instead of worrying about sticking to your daily ritual, simplify it with Kachava. Go to kachava.com and use code SHAKE for 15% off. That's KACHAVA.com, code SHAKE.
You already know Dad doesn't actually want another tire watch. So this Father's Day, gift him the tender, juicy taste of his favorite cut of steak from Omaha Steaks. Their high-quality steaks and proteins are perfect for summer grilling. Plus, you'll get an extra $35 off with promo code AUDIO at checkout. Omaha Steaks is a family-owned company with over 100 years of expertise in the meat industry. That means premium meats for premium dads. Every steak is flash frozen and vacuum sealed at the moment of peak freshness, so every bite is as delicious as the day it was carved. Try the fan favorite Butcher's Cut Filet Mignon that has earned the coveted distinction of USDA certified very tender. Give the dads in your life something to savor. Visit omahasteaks.com and get an extra $35 off with promo code AUDIO at checkout. That's omahasteaks.com and get an extra $35 off with promo code AUDIO. Terms apply. See site for details.
Breaking down every game, every day in Major League Baseball. This is the Baseball Betting Show. Here is your host, Greg Peterson.
And we're back here in lovely Las Vegas for the Baseball Betting Show with myself, Greg Peterson, now part of the VSiN Family Podcast. Always great to be joined by William Boor, who does such great work over at Action Network, looking at all things on the betting board, whether that be baseball, football, list goes on and on. Every single time he joins me, he lends such great insights, and did so once again today. So big thanks to William for joining me in the last segment. Now it is that time of the podcast. I give you picks and analysis on every game on the betting board for this Baseball Monday as we touch them all.
If a game is listed on the betting board, Greg has a side and a total on it, so it is time to touch them all.
Do note that as per usual, any changes that are made to these plays will be listed up on my Twitter/X feed at GUnit_D1. We are going to be going in Las Vegas rotation order. This is where we go with the National League games first in time order, then the American League games in time order, and the Interleague games. Those are going to be at the bottom. That'll keep things all nice, neat, clean, and easy. Let's get things started. This is 9:51, 9:52 on the card. The Marlins, they walk the plank on the road against the Philadelphia Phillies as Zach Wheelan and Dylan Wheeler is on the bump for the Phillies, and Ryan Gusto hopes to have some gusto for Miami. 7.5 is the total. Under is between -110 to a -115. Over is -105 to a -110. With the Phillies, you're going to be laying anywhere between -190 to -205, +169 to +178. That's your number on Miami. And if you're looking to lay a run half, right now between +102 to a +110 is that run line price on the Phillies, and I was willing to go up to a -114. I do like the run line for Ryan Gusto. He's only pitched 9 innings this far this season, has an ERA of a 6 because he's given up 6 runs. He does have 9 strikeouts in that time span, but really not a lot of faith in him whatsoever. You look at what he did last season. He spent time with both the Fish and the Houston Astros, and he was playing a 5.67 ERA, 1.5 home runs, 3.2 walks per 9 innings. Not great to say the least there. And then for Zach Wheeler, strikeout numbers are a little bit down this year. 8.4 strikeouts per 9 innings, his lowest since 2020. He does have a 2.22 ERA, but that might be doing for a bit of regression. 1.1 home runs allowed per 9 innings, 358 fielding dependent. Now the good news is he does go up against a Miami Marlins team that is in the bottom 6 in terms of home runs on a per at-bat basis. You've gotten really good production out of Liam Hicks. He's been able to supply 13 plus home runs, and he's been able to give you a 350 on base, and you've got quite a few guys that do a nice job in terms of moving the line. Xavier Edwards hitting a 299, Otto Lopez hitting about a 340-ish, and then you've had some guys like Mack at the catcher spot now hitting about a 240, but that bottom lineup, Asterio Ruiz, Owen Casey, Connor Norby, he's not at the bottom lineup by Kyle Stowers. These are all guys hitting a 230 or lower, really not supplying a lot of power, and Stowers just is up on himself this far this season. Now, helping out the Miami Marlins, they have been a top 10 team in terms of bullpen ERA. Calvin Fauché back down below a 340 ERA. Pete Fairbanks has been shaky, but they use he and Tyler Zuber, probably your weak links in the bullpen yesterday. You're going to be relying upon probably a lot of John King, Michael Peterson. These guys have been able to give you a sub 350 ERA, but on the flip side for the Phillies, they shouldn't have to dive into their bullpen too much with the way that Wheeler is delivering length, or Ryan Kirkering, Yohan Duran. These guys have been able to give you a sub 225 ERA. Jose Alvarado's been awful, but Brad Keller is looking a little bit better for the Phillies. They have been a better offense when they've been at home rather than away from home. That dates all the way back to last season. As for the Phillies, they still are a team that ranks in the bottom 10 in terms of run creation, about 4.1 runs per game. That does go up to about 4.3 when they are at home, and it's been mainly Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper leading the way. Harper, 15 home runs, 360 on base, 360 on base, 24 home runs for Kyle Schwarber, and then Trey Turner down for what? Bryson Stott, Alec Bohm, the entirety of the catcher spot, all these guys hitting at 232 or lower, and then Justin Crawford in the outfield, no power, hitting at 230. You've got nothing whatsoever as well out of Adolis Garcia, so it is an interesting circumstance, but I think that Ryan Gusto is just so bad that he gives up runs here. So for the Phillies, willing to lay that run line, set them at a minus 114 on that run line, and I'm in on the over, so my total at an 8.2. 953, 954 on the card. The Metropolitans are on the road against the Cincinnati Reds. Yes, we're on to Cincinnati. He's on to Chase Burns getting the start for them, and it is going to be Tobias Myers as the opener for the Mets. Right now, the Mets are between plus 113 to a plus 117. Reds are between minus 130 to a minus 136, and total is 8.5. The over and the under are both at minus 110, and I do like the under. I set my total at an 8.4. Tobias Myers should be probably like either an opener or it's going to be a piggyback between he and David Peterson. So for Myers, I'm thinking like 2 to 3 innings here. He is fresh off the injury list, and overall for the season, 405 ERA, 452 fielding dependent, 1.6 home runs allowed per 9 innings, but really doesn't give up a lot of walks with about 1.9 walks per 9 innings. And then you look at Peterson, who's going to be following him. He has been giving up about 3.8 walks per 9 innings, but he's been better than the 575 ERA, would indicate a little bit over 8 strikeouts per 9 innings, 0.6 home runs per 9 innings, has been really unlucky on balls in play, but he is backed up by a lineup that is still in the bottom 8 in the big leagues in terms of run creation. I know that Bo Bichette had a few home runs in the previous series against the Atlanta Braves, so that's a good sign, but like Mark Vientos is giving you about a 250 on base right now. They are getting back Francisco Alvarez. He's been one of the few guys that has been able to give you north of a 300 on base, as it feels like it's just Juan Soto having to carry the mail for this offense. For Soto, done a nice job, gave you 14 plus home runs, about a 380 on base. AJ Ewan, Jacob Young, both of these guys hitting between about a 262, 270, north of 325 on base for both of those guys, but Lewis Torrens is hitting for less than a 275 on base. You've got nothing out of Marcus Semien. Carson Benjay, he had that 5-hit game last week, but he's been a little bit up and down as well. Mets should have a little bit of an advantage with regards to bullpen. The likes of Oscar Brisbane, Austin Warren, Brooks Raley. These are guys that have been able to give you a sub 275 ERA. Luke Weaver has really rounded into form as well, and this is a Reds team that is currently in the bottom 6 in the big leagues in terms of bullpen ERA. Tony Santillan well above a 450 ERA. Like Sam Moe, Brock and Rolberg, these two guys have been able to give you a sub 350 ERA, but Zach McKembley, Zachary Maxwell, these are guys that are not very trustworthy. TJ Antone back down to about a 325 ERA. It's been improving a little bit with the bullpen, but I just think that Chase Burns is able to go out there and deal 10.5 strikeouts, 1.1 home runs allowed per 9 innings, 214 ERA. Recognize that the fielding dependent is a little bit higher than that, but he has given up a combined 7 earned runs over the course of his last 5 starts. He has really been dealing in. For the Reds, this is about a league average offense. They are still dealing with the LA De La Cruz injury, but Cousins Sal Stewart, he's been able to give you 13 plus home runs, about a 345 on base, and JJ Bleday has stepped up. He's giving you a 360 on base. He's up to 12 home runs. You've had Nathaniel Lowe do a solid job, hitting for about a 350 on base. He and Spencer Sear both had 9 plus home runs this season, so even a guy like a Brooks Dunn is hitting at 270. Bottom line up with the likes of Matt McClain, Will Benson, need a little bit more there, but do think that the Reds should be able to go out there behind Burns and be able to get the job done. Like the under sub, I tell at an 8.4, and for the Reds, set them at a minus 173. Willing to take a shot on the money line. 955, 956 on the card. The Slam Diego Padres. They're going to be on the road against the St. Louis Cardinals. Dustin May hopes that it's May Day for Slam Diego, and you're going to get Lucas Giolito on the bum for the Padres. Right now, the total is 8.5, over and under both at minus 110. With the Cardinals, you'll find them as good here as a minus 130, as bad as minus 140, between plus 117 to a plus 127 is that number on the Padres. I'm willing to go up to a minus 146 on this Cardinals money line. For the Cardinals, I really like the way that Dustin May has been around into form, and I feel like he's pitched much better than the ERA would indicate. For Dustin May, he's not really blowing guys away with regards to swing and miss stuff. His strikeouts per 9 rate right around about 8.2, but 2.5 walks, 0.6 home runs allowed per 9 innings, 421 ERA, but a 322 fielding dependent, and he has really been able to do a better job recently here in terms of being able to limit damage. 11 earned runs allowed over the course of his last 5 starts, so things have been improving as the season has went along. For Lucas Giolito, honestly, he was lucky to have about a 3.41 ERA last season with the Boston Red Sox. 4.35 ERA right now, 6.40 fielding dependent. He's only given up 1.3 home runs per 9 innings. That's acceptable, but 6.1 strikeouts to 7.8 walks per 9 innings. Now, it should be thrown in that the St. Louis Cardinals, not quite the the same team in terms of hitting when they're at home rather than away from home. They're averaging about 5.15 runs per game away from home, 4.14 runs per game at home. That's a full run per game difference. So that's something that needs to be noted, but Jordan Walker has been amazing for the team, 15-plus home runs. He's been able to turn near there and just have a lot of guys in general that find a way to move the line, get on base. Von Rara, darn near a 400 on base, and then the likes of Alec Burleson, J.J. Weatherholt have been able to give you between about a 350 to a 360 on base. You've had some of these young guys be able to step up, like Jose Fermin is out hitting at 270. Blaze Jordan, very small sample size, but I like what I've seen out of him as well. Need a little bit more of the likes of Victor Scott and company at the bottom of the lineup. Mason Wynn has been a little bit disappointing, but for the Cardinals, they've also been a top 12 team in terms of opening race since May 1st. Was a little bit of an adventure to start the season, but you've had these guys like a Gordon Gassefo, George Soriano be able to give you a sub 350 ERA. Riley O'Brien a little bit above that, same with Jojo Romero, but they're still below a 4, so things have been improving there. Flip side, you've got a San Diego Padres team that does have an amazing bullpen. They continue to be a top 7 team with regards to bullpen ERA. Jason Adam, Mason Miller, these are two guys who have been able to give you a sub 2 ERA. Now Jeremiah Estrada hits the injury list, but Wandy Peralta, Yuki Matsui, they're giving you a sub 275 ERA, but for this Padres team, currently dead sinking last in terms of run creation. They hit a little bit better away from home rather than at home because Petco Park really suppresses offense, and Fernando Tatis Jr., just 2 home runs this season. He is giving you a 347 on base and a 282 average. He's still getting on, just no power whatsoever. Your main 2 boom guys have been Manny Machado, Gavin Sheets. Holy Sheets for Sheets, being able to give you 11 home runs and a 322 on base, and then Manny Machado, while he's got 12 home runs, he's hitting a 175 right now. Jackson Merrill sitting at 210 with not a lot of power. Freddie Fermin at the catcher spot has been awful. Like, you just have a lot of guys that they need to be giving you a little bit more. Ramon Laureano's out for the year. That's not much of a loss. He wasn't doing anything whatsoever. Do think that the Cardinals go out there and dominate, and just don't think that the Padres do their part with the total. Like the under, some I told 7.9, and I'm going to be willing to lay the money line here. The Cardinals set them at a minus 146, 957, 958 on the card. It's the Cubs. They're going to be playing us to the Colorado Rockies. We do know that for the Rockies, it is going to be Michael Lorenzen. Should be Shota Imanaga going for the Cubs right now. It is the Cubs on the money line at a minus 190 plus 171 for the Colorado Rockies. No total up on this game because it is a Wrigley Field game. They want to be able to gauge a win, and there's still a little bit of question mark as to whether or not Shota Imanaga is going to be the true starter in this game, but I can tell you right now, it looks like the wind is going to be blowing out a little bit during the game, and as a result, I set a total of a 9.8. 9.5 or less, I like the over. A 10 or higher, I'm going to be in on the under, and for the Cubs, if I could get a minus 112 on the run line, seeing a money line price of minus 190, I should be able to. I'd be willing to take a shot there. I would need at least a plus 218 to take a shot on the Rockies on the money line. For Michael Lorenzen, he's been better away from home rather than at home, but man, it has been a no good, very bad, terrible season here for Michael Lorenzen, as right now he is supplying a 7.54 ERA. Now, 4.84 fielding pennies, pitch better than the ERA would indicate, but 1.5 home runs per 9 innings, 3.3 walks, 7.5 strikeouts per 9. It's just been all sorts of rough. The ERA does go down below a 6 when he's away from home, but man, that's really not saying much. And Shota Imanaga, like, he has been shot out of a cannon recently. He has given up 5+ earned runs in 4 of his last 5 starts. Lone exception when he went to Coors Field against the Colorado Rockies last week. So that's interesting to say the least. And for the Rockies, they scored 23 runs in their game yesterday against the Athletics. I don't think that lightning is going to be striking twice. As you take a look at them prior to that game, they were 6th worst in the big leagues in terms of run creation away from home at 4.03 runs per game. So I do think that this is going to be coming back down to earth a little bit. And I am for Shota Imanaga, getting back to him a little bit. I know that he has been absolutely awful year recently, but you do take a look at things. 4.44 ERA, 4.72 fielding dependent. The 1.9 home runs per 9 innings are a little bit of an issue, but it's a Rockies team that really doesn't have a lot of guys that are supplying boom. I mean, Hunter Goodman, he's been a good man. He's been able to give you 19 home runs. Lone guy going into yesterday outside of Mickey Moniak, who's on the injury list, who's been able to give you a double-figure amount of homers this season. Now, batting average is much better with a lot of these guys after yesterday, but even after what we saw yesterday, you saw like Brett Sullivan, Edouard Julien, Ezekiel Tovar, Jordan Beck, who's currently dealing with injury. These guys are laying a 230 or lower. Heck, Sterling Thompson, he's giving you less than a 300 on base. So you leave a lot to be desired there. For the Colorado Rockies, they're right towards the bottom of the big leagues in terms of bullpen ERA, despite the fact that Antonio Senzatella has been able to give you a sub-3 ERA. Jaden Hill, Wamahia, these are a pair of guys that are giving you north of 5 ERA. You've been able to have Seth Halverson, Blas Castano do a nice job holding down the 4 for Halverson, sub-335 ERA. Castano is able to lend a little bit of long relief, a little bit over a 4 ERA. And then for the Chicago Chicago Cubs, the bullpen has honestly been relatively solid. We are starting to see Hobie Milner have a little bit of regression. Caleb Theobar hovering right around about a 4 ERA himself, but Jacob Webb, Daniel Palencia, these have been two guys who have done a nice job giving you a sub-3 ERA. And for the Chicago Cubs, just feels like you've got a lot of guys hovering in that neighborhood of, how about if we call like a 315 to a 343 on base percentage? Pete Crow Armstrong, Nico Horner, Michael Conforto, Ian Happ, Seiya Suzuki, Alex Bregman, all there. And I mean, for Happ, 16 home runs. And Crow Armstrong, ever since he had the interaction with the fan, he's actually been much better. He's now hitting for 12 home runs. Michael Busch is giving you a 377 on base. Power has been a little bit down, but I do think that the Cubs take it to Lorenz at minus 112 or better. Looking at the Cubs run line, then, like I said, with the total 9.5 or less, like the over 10 or higher, the under 959, 960 on the card. The Twins are going to be on the road against the Rangers. We do know that Mackenzie Gore is going to be on the bump for the Rangers. It's all to be determined on the bump for the Twins. Mike Paredes should be pitching in some form or capacity, whether that be as a starter, bulk guy, what have you. And as a result, I did set the Rangers here at a minus 169. Willing to lay up to minus 168 there, plus 170 or better. Looking at the Twinkies, and then I set a total here of a 7.8, 7.5 or less, like the over an 8 or higher through the under. And I set such a low total because Arlington is really suppressing offense, and for Mackenzie Gore, I think that he's going to be able to go out there and give a really good start. Mike Paredes, you take a look at him on the flip side, very small sample size. He's only pitched in 3 MLB games, 10 and a third innings, 7 strikeouts, 5.2 walks per 9 innings. He's only allowed 1 home run. It's hard to make too much out of those numbers, good or bad. You look at what he did at the minor league level this season, was posting up a 4.44 ERA, 8.5 strikeouts at 2.1 walks per 9 innings, gave up a little bit of the deep ball, but I mean, he wasn't too bad when he was at the AAA level, so we'll see what he's able to do here. So I know it's a little bit of a lukewarm situation there. And then for Mackenzie Gore, he has been much better when he's been at home rather than away from home. And he's pitched better than the 4.180 ERA would indicate. Right now, 354 fielding dependent. Needs to work on the 4.2 walks per 9 innings, but 0.8 home runs allowed per 9 innings. He's getting about 9.5 strikeouts per 9 innings. And specifically when he's been pitching in Arlington this season, that goes down to a 2.08 ERA. At home, he's given up about 0.9 home runs per 9 innings. And he's backed up by a bullpen that is in the top 8 in the big leagues in terms of ERA. The Jacobs, Jacob Junis, Jacob Latz have both been rock solid. They are dealing with Jalen Beeks, dealing with a little bit of an injury, so that's something that does need to be noted. But I am for the Rangers. They're getting Cole Winn off the injury list. He had a sub-2 ERA last season. Tyler Alexander has been solid. And for the Rangers, they entered into the weekend averaging just 4 runs per game. That is a bottom 6 mark in all baseball. Jake Berger has been able to give you 12 home runs, and you are having Wyatt Langford, Corey Seager coming off the injury list. Seager has been a little bit up and down, and they left him out of the lineup yesterday, so have a little bit of question mark there. Josh Young, he's hitting a 300 though. Ezekiel Duran about a 340 on base. You've been able to have a little bit of production out of, don't call his name, Alejandro Ozuna as well, about a 370 on base. Flip side, you've got a Twins bunch that has just really been awful with their bullpen. They are a bottom 5 team in terms of bullpen ERA with the likes of Taylor Rogers, Cody Funderburk, Eric Orze, who's right now dealing with an injury. Like, you just go down the list. I don't know who in that bullpen right now is a sub 350 ERA because all those guys have north of a 350 ERA. It's been all sorts of brutal there. Anthony Band has been a little bit better recently. He's down to about a 450, but that's it for the Twins. They're really going to slug their way to victory, and I think that Arlington is just going to suppress that. Byron Buxton, 22 home runs. He's hitting for a 275. He has been amazing thus far this season, but I mean, for Royce Lewis, he's been better ever since coming back from the minor league level, but still have some question marks there. Less than a 300 on base for him this season. Tristan Gray, Brooks Lee, about a 290 to a 300 on base. Now, Lee has been able to give you a little bit of power. Lucas Shield, he's been hitting a little bit better. Orlando Arcia, they're kicking the tires on him, but I do think that the Rangers do a nice job suppressing offense in this game. So 7.5 or less, like the over, 8 or higher to the under, with the Rangers willing to lay up to minus 168 on the money line, plus 170 or better. Looking at the Twins, 961, 962 on the card. The Tigers are going to be on the road against the Astros. Kai Wei Tang is on the bump for the Astros. Troy Melton is on the bump for Detroit, and Detroit does find themselves as a pretty good size underdog here, as you're going to be catching them between a plus 115 to a plus 124. Meanwhile, minus 128 to a minus 137 is that number on Houston, and totals between 8.5 and 9. On the 8.5, overs minus 120 to minus 125. Unders between even a plus 105 on the 9. Unders minus 120. Over is even, and I set the Astros at a minus 111, so plus 112 or better. I'm in on the Tigers money line. Troy Melton has been pitching to a lot of contact. He's only been able to get about 4.9 strikeouts per 9 innings this season, but And he's been able to do a nice job in terms of keeping things out in front of him. He has given up the 1.8 home runs per 9 innings, but he's given up just a hair over 2 walks per 9 innings, 2.81 ERA. And then you look at Kai Wei Tang on the flip side. He's had some command issues for 4.2 walks per 9 innings, solid 3.71 ERA. He gets a face-off against the Tigers lineup that has been 26th in the league in terms of run creation for the Tigers. They're coming off the rain out yesterday, so they are going to have a little bit more of a rested bullpen here as well. That's going to be able to help them out because they have been dealing with a lot of injuries in that bullpen. Brant Herter has been dealing with injury throughout much of the season. Birch Smith has now landed on the shelf as well. But you've got Kyle Finnegan, who's been able to give you a sub-3 ERA this season. They're getting Kenley Jansen back off the injury list. Doesn't sound like much, but better than a lot of the guys that they've had because Will Vest is right now supplying an ERA well above a 6. It's been a rough season for Tyler Holton, but he has seen his ERA go down to about a 4, and it is a Tigers team that is getting much healthier. They still have Ivy Bias out of the fold, but now you get back Gleyber Torres, who's been able to give you over 375 on base. Gary Carpenter had 20-plus home runs last season. Then Riley Green, Kevin McGonigal. These are two guys that have been able to give you above a 375 on base. Spencer Torkelson is up to a double-figure amount of homers, hitting at 209. That's been a little bit miserable. And just the guys at the bottom of the lineup, Juancillo Perez, Matt Veling, Zach McKinstry, all these mix and match guys are all hitting at 225 or lower. The backup catcher, Jake Rogers, is just a disaster. And then for the Astros, it's been quite a top-heavy offense because Yordan Alvarez has been incredible. He's been able to give you over 22 home runs, over a 430 on base. Jeremy Pena is starting to move the line with about a 340 on base. You've got Jose Altuve back. I know he hasn't been quite himself this season, but had a home run in that series against Kansas City Royals. And then Chris Walker, he's been able to supply 16-plus home runs. He's hitting about a 250. But then you look at the bottom of the lineup, Zach DeZenzo, Zach Cole, Cam Smith, Jake Myers. You've got a lot of guys in at 225 or lower. Christian Vasquez, you're able to throw him in there as well. It is an Astros bullpen that has been all sorts of atrocious this season. Looking a little bit better now that they've got Josh Hader off the injured list. You've got Brian King, who's been able to give you a sub-350 ERA. Stephen Okert has been solid. Aniel De Los Santos, about a 450 ERA. All these mix-and-match guys have not been great, but AJ Blubaugh is a little bit of a long guy, has been solid. Brian Abreu, I don't know what happened to him. He's just having a very, very brutal season, and for the Tigers, I do think that they do an okay job of in terms of getting into Tang and getting into that bullpen. Like the undersum, I told it at 8.4, and for the Tigers, plus 112 or better, looking at the money line, 963, 964 on the card. The Nationals play us to the Royals. We have to be determined on the bump for the Royals, and Andrew Alvarez is on the bump for the Nationals, and we've got one or two openers in this game right now for the Nationals. You're going to be finding them anywhere between about a minus 128 to a minus 138. Meanwhile, plus 113 to plus 118 is that number on Kansas City. 8.5 to 9 is the total on the 8.5. Over is minus 120. The under is even. On the 9, the over is minus 115. The under is minus 105. And I set my total at a 9.2, so whether you've got an 8.5 or a 9, I'm going to be taking a shot on the over. Now, I think that this is going to be very much a true bullpen game for the Royals. They've got Mitch Spence on Fangraphs starting, but I think Mitch Spence just had a minor league start 48 to 72 hours ago. I think you're just going to get a poo-poo platter of pitchers here for the Royals, and their bullpen ERA is 4.88. It's a bottom 5 mark in all of baseball. Carlos Estevez going down with an injury is rough. Now, Daniel Lynch was a starter by trade. He's been able to give you a sub-3 ERA. He's been relatively solid, but Steven Cruz is posting up an ERA well above a 4. Matt Strom has been a little bit of a disaster this season. You got a lot of guys that just have not performed in this bullpen. John Schreiber's been a little bit better, but man, it's not great. And then you got a Kansas City Royals offense that is averaging 3.53 runs per game away from home. That is dead sinking last in all baseball. Bobby Witt Jr. continue to give you a 360 on base. He's on pace for less than 25 home runs this season, but he's been solid. And Jack Caglione starting to move line, about a 345 on base. You need a little bit more on some of these guys, though. Lane Thomas had a home run in that series against the Astros, and he does have a 354 on base, but Isaac Collins, Carter Jensen, only between about a 215 to a 225. Michael Massey is giving you a 263 average, but only about a 280 on base. And then you've had Salvador Perez give you a 248 on base. Recognize he's up to 10 home runs, but then you've got Vinny Pasquantino right around about 7 home runs. He's giving you about a 300 on base as well. Flip side, you've got a Nationals bullpen that is in the bottom 10 in terms of ERA, but you've had Richard Dickey, Lovelady, along with PJ Poulin, be able to give you a sub-350 ERA. I just don't trust in Paxton Schultz whatsoever. He's got an ERA that's hovering right around about a 5, but they got rid of CNL Perez. That helps them out. Clayton Beater has looked pretty solid, and this Nationals team is averaging 5.4 runs per game. That is numero uno in all of baseball. You did have Dylan Cruz go deep over the weekend. He's not been himself, but when you've got James Wood and CJ Abrams, you've always got a shot. Wood is up to 20 bombs with a 4-arm base. CJ Abrams, 375 on base. He's done a nice job supplying 14 plus home runs. Guiber Ruiz and someone like a Luis Garcia, don't draw a lot of walks, but Garcia's hitting at 260, Ruiz up to about a 280, and then you've got Curtis Mead, who's been able to give you 9 home runs, over a 340 on base. So I think that the Nationals just slug their way to victory here, like the over, sub I total 9.2, and I think that Alvarez is going to be able to do his part and get the job done here. He's been able to provide a 370 ERA. He's actually been better than that if you take a look at the fielding dependent, which is right now about a 339, 9.6 strikeouts per 9 innings, does give up about 4 walks per 9, but I think that he gets the job done here, like the Nationals up to a minus 148 on the money line, and this total to the over, 965, 966 on the card. The Angels are going to be on the road against the Diamondbacks as Ryan Nelson goes for these things. Valverde is on the bump for the Halos, and the Halos do find themselves as a underdog here, as you're going to be getting them anywhere between plus 105 to a plus 110. Meanwhile, minus 110 to a minus 120. I'm seeing a minus 125 out there as well on the Arizona Diamondbacks. Total on this game is 9. The overs between minus 110 to a minus 115. Unders between minus 105 to a minus 110. And I do like the over. Somebody total 9.6 for Valverde. He's actually been quite good for the Angels thus far this season. He's supplying a nice solid 2.44 ERA. He's given up only about 0.7 home runs per 9 innings, but the 5.4 walks per 9 innings, that's an issue, especially when he's backed up by a bullpen that is currently 24th in the big leagues with a 4.74 ERA. You know that your bullpen is going the wrong way down a one-way street when you've got Alek Manoah coming out of it. So that's not been good, to say the least. They've had a few guys like a Chase Silseth who's been able to give you a sub-2 ERA, but Grayson Rodriguez went 2 1/3 innings yesterday. So a bad bullpen is now taxed. The likes of Ryan Zephyr, Andrew Pomeranz, Brent Suter, Nick Sandlin, a whole bunch of guys with above a 4.15 ERA. Sam Bachman, one of their more trustworthy pieces, through 31 pitches yesterday. That's an issue, and for the Angels, this is a top 8 offense in terms of run creation away from them. They kicked the tires on Nick Madrigal along with Trey Boom Boom Mancini. Both guys have been able to get on base. Both guys are running above a 300. I don't know if it's going to be a mainstay, but that's been solid. Logan O'Hoppe can't be too happy about the fact that he's hitting less than a 225 thus far this season. But Mike Trout continues to give you 14 home runs, about a 388 on base. You've had Wade Meckler be able to hit for about a 370 on base. Zach Neto continues to give you a double-figure amount of homers, just a 223 average, but 330 on base as a series has been quite good in its small sample size as well. And then on the other end, got a guy in Ryan Nelson who has been giving up 2 home runs per 9 innings, 5.14 ERA. So that's been all sorts of brutal, and it actually goes up to about a 5.31 when he's at home. He's backed up by the far better bullpen, though, as you've had the likes of Juan Murillo be able to give you a sub-3 ERA, along Jonathan Loaiza, Ryan Thompson. These guys have all been solid. I still don't really trust in Paul Sewald at the closer's role, but for the Diamondbacks, you do have plenty of boom in this lineup with having Corbin Carroll give you about a 370 on base. He's been able to supply a double-figure amount of homers. Ketel Marte has been able to come around as well. Double-figure amount of homers. He's been able for about a 255. Eliormo Vargas is starting to regress, but he, Gabriel Moreno, are both between about a 260 to 270 average. You're getting Jordan Lawler back off the injury list, Geraldo Perdomo up to about 350 on base, and I think that they do a nice job getting Urania out of this start early, and then they get into that awful bullpen. So the Diamondbacks at a minus 166. I like them on the money line. I like the over. Semi total 9.6, 967, 968 on the card. The Pirates are going to be on the road against the Athletics. JT Ginn-Juice is on the bump for the Athletics. Jared Jones is on the bump for the Pirates, and this is back in Sacramento, by the way, so do want to note that. So on this game, it's between 10 and 10.5. On the 10, over is minus 125. The under is plus 105. On the 10.5, over is minus 120 to minus 115, and the under is between even and minus 105. Right now, the Pirates are between plus 110 to a plus 115 on the money line. Meanwhile, at the Athletics, you're going to be finding them anywhere between a minus 118 to a minus 130, and I set the Pirates at a minus 106. I'm going to be willing to take a shot here on the money line for Jared Jones. He missed the entirety of the 2025 season due to injury, but he's been able to come back, and he's been pretty solid for the team. 4.73 ERA, swing and miss off his back, 9.5 strikeouts per 9 innings, closer to a 4.08 fielding dependent. Is giving up 1.4 home runs per 9 innings, and I recognize that it's not quite as explosive as a lovely Las Vegas, but Sacramento is a ballpark where the ball still really does fly, and for the Athletics, they certainly had to dive into that bullpen yesterday. You've got Luis Medina, who's now got above an ERA of a 4. You've had the likes of a Mark Leiter Jr., Scott Barlow, Brady Basso. These are all guys providing north of 450 right now. I do like what Hogan Harris is able to bring to the table, but man, the Athletics bullpen is starting to look a little bit rough, and for the Athletics, their lineup that really was able to get going out here in lovely Las Vegas, you've got Nick Kurtz, who's up above 12 home runs with a 440 on base. Tyler Soderstrom, he has been on a tear recently, up to about a 340 on base. He's been able to give you 12 home runs. Henry Bolte, not hitting for really a lot of power, but he and Carlos Cortez both hitting at least a 300. Jeff McNeil has really went down the toilet bowl a little bit, but Zach Aloff is now giving you some power. He's been able to provide a 275, so like that. And then Shea Langlaris continues to give you a 350 on base with 15 plus home runs himself. Pirates, meanwhile, continue to be a top 7 team in terms of run creation. Now, their run creation does go down by nearly a full run when they're away from home, rather than when they are at home, and they are dealing with the O'Neal Cruz injury. That said, you still have someone like a Ryan O'Hearn who's been able to hit about a 275, and he's been able to give you 9 plus home runs. Brian Reynolds moves the line. He and Spencer Horwitz above a 380 on base. Nick Gonzalez has been able to hit about a 300. Brandon Lau, he's been able to get loud. 15 plus home runs, about a 325 on base out of him. And then you've had some of these mix and match guys like a Jake Magnum, along with Tyler Callahan in the outfield, hitting above 300. Small sample size for both of those guys. And you do have a Pirates bullpen that could be a little bit testy themselves. Gregory Soto has been relatively solid. Mason Miller, Evan Sisk, these have been guys who have been able to hold down the fort for this team, all below a 4.35 ERA. You've had Dennis Santana have his issues. Kerman Molzinski, though, going from the starter's role to the bullpen, that should be able to lend a little bit of help. And while JT Ginn has been quite good this season for the Athletics, I can't help but think that there's going to be a little bit of regression with them, because you take a look at the raw ERA, it's right now 3.15, but he's not really blowing guys away. 3.8 walks, 8.2 strikeouts per 9 innings, closer to a 417 fielding dependent. So I do think that the Pirates get to him here. So my total 10.6, 10.5 or less, like the over, and I'm going to be in on the Pirates on the money line, made them the favorite of minus 106. Wrap things up with 969, 970 on the card. The Rays are going to be on the road against the Dodgers, as Eric Lauer is on the bump for the Dodgers, and Nick Martinez goes for the Rays. Rays are between plus 135 to plus 143 underdogs, and then with the Dodgers, going to be finding them between minus 160 to a minus 170, and that total is between 8.5 to 9 on the 9. Under is minus 115 to minus 120. The over is between even and minus 105, and on the 8.5, over is minus 120, and the under is even money. If you're looking to lay around half, by the way, with the Dodgers, that's between plus 125 to a plus 130. I'm going to take a shot on the Dodgers on the run line. I was willing to go a plus 112 or better. Now, if you look at Nick Martinez and the raw ERA, he has had an absolutely spectacular season. Can't help but think that there's going to be quite a bit of regression here. As for Martinez, 2.43 ERA, but closer to about a 3.56 fielding dependent. Pitches to a ton of contact. 5.1 strikeouts per 9 innings. Now, he's doing a great job not hurting himself. 1.5 walks, 0.7 home runs allowed per 9 innings, but it's out giving up 3 plus runs at each out of his last 2 starts. So there's a little bit of worry there. And for Eric Lauer, it's been a no good, very bad, terrible season for him. But much of the no good, very bad, terrible season was out there in Toronto. When he was a member of the Blue Jays, he was posting up at 6.69 ERA, giving up 2.7 home runs and 4 walks per 9 innings. Since he got to the Dodgers in 3 starts, 2.76 ERA. Now, still giving up 2.2 home runs per 9 innings with the Dodgers, so he's got a fielding dependent of a 5.43. So I do think that you're going to see some explosive scoring. I said my total 9.2, so 9 or less, I'm going to be in on the over, especially with having a Rays lineup that has Yandy Diaz, Junior Caminero, along with Jonathan Aranda. I'll give you at least 11 home runs. I'll give you at least a 370 on base. And then you've got someone like a Chandler Simpson, who does a nice job swiping bags. He's been able to about a 275. Nick Fortes, Ben Williamson. These mix and match guys have been pretty solid out there as well. But for the LA Dodgers, even though they haven't been quite the same offense when they've been away from home rather than at home, Dodgers are averaging about 6 runs per game when they are away from home. At home, that goes down to about 4.7 runs per game. You know that these guys are going to be able to find it. Shohei Ohtani, fortunately, was able to avoid injury, and he had a home run over the weekend against the Chicago White Sox, back up above a 425 on base. Freddie Freeman is up to 11 home runs. He's been able to hit a 275. Andy Paz, Max Muncy, both are giving you 13 plus home runs apiece. They're both hitting about a 265 to 275. Kyle Tucker just still has not been himself this year, but hey, Dolan Rushing, he's been pretty solid for this team. Dodgers are a top 10 team in terms of bullpen ERA. Tanner Scott is looking like that guy that he was a few seasons ago. Likes of Will Klein, Kyle Hurd, Tanner Scott, who I mentioned before, Alex Vesia, they've been able to give you sub 350 ERA. Blake Trinan has been a little bit testy, same with Edgar Enriquez, but all in all, these guys have been solid. And for the Rays, league average team in terms of bullpen ERA, it's been a little bit better here recently, but do have Cole Sulzer, who's flying an ERA well above a 450. Cam Boozer has been pretty solid in a small sample size thus far, but Karen Clevenger up above a 5 ERA. Brian Baker has been a pretty solid closer, but not sure if they're going to be able to get to him, and I do think that there's going to be quite a bit of run scoring in this game. So I do like the Dodgers here on the run line, and somebody told 9.2, so 9 or less, and on the over, and that'll wrap things up for the Monday edition of the Baseball Betting Show, now part of the VSiN Family Podcast. Big thanks to William Boor of Action Network for joining me in the last segment. If you do like hearing from this fine podcast, Baseball Betting Show, you're able to subscribe wherever your podcast, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, and TuneIn. If you have a question, comment, segment idea, what have you for this podcast, you have one of two ways to be Maybe I'll fire those in. First one is my Twitter/X timeline at @GUnit_81. Keep in mind, RCM, name does not matter, so as per usual, please do send these into the timeline. And the other way is find an Apple Podcast review. If you rate this podcast 5 stars, it's very much appreciated. From there, you're able to fire in whatever you like here on this podcast via that 5-star review, and I'm with you guys every single day. I give you guys picks and analysis on every game every day, so I'll be back with you once again tomorrow. Thank you.
Keep your wellness routine going strong all summer. Kachava's new travel packs help you stick to your daily ritual even when you're on the go. Just one packet of Kachava's all-in-one nutrition shake provides complete nutrition wherever you are, with 25 grams of protein, 6 grams of fiber, greens, adaptogens, and more. Simplify your daily ritual. Go to Kachava.com and use code SHAKE for 15% off. That's KACHAVA.com, code SHAKE.
You already know Dad doesn't actually want another tire watch. So this Father's Day, gift him the tender, juicy taste of his favorite cut of steak from Omaha Steaks. Their high-quality steaks and proteins are perfect for summer grilling. Plus, you'll get an extra $35 off with promo code AUDIO at checkout. Omaha Steaks is a family-owned company with over 100 years of expertise in the meat industry. That means premium meats for premium dads. Every steak is flash frozen and vacuum sealed at the moment of peak freshness, so every bite is as delicious as the day it was carved. Try the fan favorite Butcher's Cut Filet Mignon that has earned the coveted distinction of USDA certified very tender. Give the dads in your life something to savor. Visit omahasteaks.com and get an extra $35 off with promo code AUDIO at checkout. That's omahasteaks.com and get an extra $35 off with promo code AUDIO. Terms apply. See site for details.